What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated, unified 3-belt WBC, WBA, IBF, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, ERROL the True Spence Jr., who is widely considered to be top 2, if not number 1, definitely top 5 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. ERROL Spence Jr. has a record of 28 wins, no loss and no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout, 32 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. With that said, ERROL Spence is now being linked to a possible showdown with former unified WBC, WBA welterweight world champion, superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman. Keith Thurman is 30 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 22 wins by way of knockout. He is 33 years of age, 5'9", 5'8", with a 68, 69-inch arm reach, okay? The WBC, World Boxing Council President Mauricio Suleiman, board of 32 members, have ordered ERROL Spence to face off against Keith Thurman next, okay? And so with that said, ERROL Spence obviously makes up for 50% of the biggest fight in boxing between himself and undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, and currently the reigning WBO, World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion, who is widely considered to be the number 1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is 38 wins, no loss, no draw, 29 wins by way of knockout. He is 35 years of age, 5'8", with a 74-inch arm reach. So ERROL Spence and Terence Crawford make for the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. It's the undisputed welterweight showdown. But since the WBC has ordered this fight with ERROL Spence and Keith Thurman, right? ERROL Spence, you know, in order for him, like he stated, he's going to spin the block. The fight is not happening, ERROL Spence, Terence Crawford, this year. So he stated he's going to spin the block next year and come back to Terence Crawford. And that's the fight that he absolutely wants, is a fight between himself and Terence Crawford, right? But it's not happening this year. And so in order for him to fight for undisputed, as he wants to fight for undisputed, he has to honor the fight with Keith Thurman, or he's going to lose his WBC title. So ERROL Spence recently took to social media, and he was asked, when is he fighting next? What's going to be his next move? This was 16 hours ago. So this came out, and apparently a video was made about it, and somebody's asking me about, you know, ERROL Spence saying that he took to social media and he said that he don't know what's his next move, because he was blindsided a few weeks ago, and now so he's still trying to figure things out, okay? And people are saying, hey, Blue, Terence Crawford blindsided him. Terence Crawford blindsided him. Terence Crawford did blindside him. That's the absolute truth. Terence Crawford blindsided ERROL Spence by making the decision to go to BOKPrime.com and fight David Avanesian, right? Armenian Russian star type welterweight title contender. Did that blindside ERROL Spence? Absolutely. Okay, because ERROL Spence was in negotiations with Terence Crawford. Okay, and the negotiations for ERROL Spence was going well. For Terence Crawford, it wasn't going well. Okay, Terence Crawford didn't like the things that was happening in the negotiations. Yeah, I see you. He didn't like what was going on. He didn't like, you know, what was offered to him. He didn't like what was offered to him. And so Terence Crawford, he pulled out. He went in a different direction, right? And Terence Crawford is like, listen, next year, you know, I'll revisit the ERROL Spence fight. As of right now, you know, I want to fight this year. Terence Crawford stated that, you know, he was made aware by the PBC, Premier Boxing Champion, founder, advisor Al Heyman, that the Terence Crawford fight with ERROL Spence wasn't happening this year. So he stated that he informed Al Heyman that he still wanted to fight this year, and that, you know, but he didn't tell them what his plans was, right? And so he just moved on. And Errol Spence was blindsided. Was Errol Spence blindsided? Yes, Errol Spence was blindsided for sure. Errol Spence didn't see this coming. And so with that said, you know, yes, Errol Spence is 1000% correct when he says that he was blindsided in his negotiations with Terence Crawford, right? And that he's trying to figure things out, because there's reports. Yeah, some people are saying that Terence Crawford should have made Errol Spence aware, made Al Heyman aware that he was going in a different direction so they can make plans. All's fair in love and war. You understand? Terence Crawford doesn't have to inform anybody what his next move is, as Errol Spence doesn't have to inform Terence Crawford what his next move is, right? If they're in negotiations and Errol Spence don't like the way the negotiations is going, let's say Errol Spence was in negotiations with Terence Crawford and Bob Arum, and he didn't like the way it was going, and he decided, listen, he abruptly wanted to sign and fight somebody else. He doesn't owe anybody anything to have to inform them what he's doing. Now, you could say proper business etiquette, you know, to inform, you know, who you're involved with or having conversation with, that you want to go in a different direction. I can respect that. You know, I personally would have been like, listen, you know something? I'm going in a different direction. I don't want to wait. You know what I mean? I don't want to wait till next year. I want to have another fight. So I'm going to go and inquire, since we putting this on the shelf. Let's push it back. I'm going to inquire about another fight. And, you know, that'd be that. That's what I personally would have done. But that doesn't, there's no right and wrong how to negotiate when you're dealing with the sport of boxing and it's the Wild Wild West. So was Errol Spence blindsided? For sure. Terence Crawford possibly could have purposely did that because he didn't like the way things was going. So maybe Terence Crawford, you know, purposely said, you know what, y'all trying to, because Terence Crawford feels like he was being slighted. So if Terence Crawford feel like he was being slighted and he wasn't being respected and appreciated, and he's decided, listen, you know something? Okay, no problem. I'm going in a different direction, and I don't have to let you know anything. It's just like a relationship, right? You could be in a relationship with a woman and the relationship is not going well. You know, the proper thing for people to do is say, listen, you know something? This is not working out. I think we should just go our separate ways. And some people will just say, you know what? I'm out, and don't say nothing. Right? And, you know, communication is the biggest key to anything. Right? Communication. And I believe there was lack of communication on both parts. I believe there was lack of communication from expectations. What Terence Crawford expected, what Errol Spence team expected, right? And so communication kills so many different relationships. And I believe that that's what happened here. I believe communication killed this this fight for this year. And so now Errol Spence is saying that he don't know what his next move is, right? Do Errol Spence want to and again, I'm sure Errol Spence is confused, because I saw people saying, well, Errol Spence, how could you be still trying to figure things out when we know you fighting Keith Thurman? Errol Spence is steadfast on telling the world, and I'm sure Errol Spence, you know, is under the belief that he don't want to fight Keith Thurman. He stated he don't want to fight him, and I believe Errol Spence. He said, when I say never, I mean never, right? That's what he said. He told the PBC, take the L out of lover, meaning it's over, right? And I believe that Errol Spence don't want to fight Keith Thurman, but he understands now this fight has been being pushed, okay? And Errol Spence understands that in order for him to fight Terence Crawford undisputed, he's gonna have to fight Keith Thurman to keep his WBC title. That's not a coincidence that Keith Thurman jumped to the front of the line, right? Now Errol Spence contemplating moving to 154, right? So I'm done with this division. but a personal accomplishment for Errol Spence to become undisputed. And the big fight, the career legacy defining fight is Terence Crawford fight. Errol Spence don't want to leave that on the table. He just doesn't. And so with that said, I'm almost certain February 11th is looking like that we're going to get Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. We saw TGB, Tom Brown Promotions, who's the promoter for PBC. PBC is an advisory and a platform. They're not a promotional company. And so Tom Brown, TGB, is the promotional company for the PBC. So I believe that TGB, they made a statement that on behalf of Errol Spence, they petitioned the WBA President Gilberto Mendoza to allow them an exemption so that they can fight Keith Thurman for undisputed because, in a title defense because the WBC ordered it, but the WBA is first in line, and the WBA granted them this permission, and the WBA has now ordered that their WBA welterweight regular and mandatory challenger for Errol Spence, Amanda Stanionis, is now going to be ordered and go to a purse bid to fight another welterweight superstar title contender, Virgil Ortiz. So that's a clear indication that Errol Spence is going to be fighting Keith Thurman next. And Errol Spence, I believe, come to the understanding and said, listen, you know something? Yeah, Terence Crawford blindsided me. Now I got to fight Keith Thurman to keep my belt. I'm going to do so. And that might be more motivation for Errol Spence to fight and beat Terence Crawford. That's what that would look like to me. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.